Welcome back to the YouTube channel of Pro Enzo Vidz. This is the Ankle Breaker Podcast, episode 13. I'm joined by special guest All Out Champa this afternoon, another content creator on YouTube. So, yeah, bro, how you been this afternoon? And thanks for joining the podcast.
Mate, thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here, and my day's been great. And I'm just ready to smash this podcast. We've got some great topics in. I know a lot of people are keen, and let's not keep them waiting anymore. Let's get straight into it. I'm keen.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. Yeah, no, I'm keen for it actually. I believe this is your first time coming on the channel as well, which is pretty cool. So I hope to get you on more times as well. But yeah, it looks like everyone's just rolling in right now. I've got Nick from Australia, I've got Warriors NRL Fanatics, CJ Moxley. Yeah, everyone's coming in now. So look, I think it's going to be a good one. Got a couple of interesting topics to talk about. And yeah, I think it's hopefully the show goes well, and yeah, we'll go through it all and should be good. But yeah, look, before I start, just want to say, bro, when's your next upload going to be? Because I think it's been about 3 weeks since you uploaded a video. Do you have an idea what your next video is going to be?
Well, I did drop a video just probably 10 minutes ago about the Royal Rumble. It was about my reactions to the WWE Royal Rumble. And in terms of rugby league content, I am going to do a ladder prediction this week. So stay tuned for that. And then after the ladder prediction, I'm going to do key players from every team in the NRL. So 2 videos dropping out. Guys, make sure to check that out. You would not want to miss it.
Yeah, bro, how good. I'll tune into your ladder prediction actually because, obviously I put one out yesterday and comments, the feedback seemed pretty good on that. So, that's
very interesting. It was a very interesting one.
Well, everyone was saying that, and it probably was because I put some teams where some others didn't expect. But look, overall pretty positive feedback, which is good. But yeah, let's get into it right now. I think it's time to rip in. So we'll go for the first topic. So obviously the first one is originally it was going to be James Seguiaro to make a return to the NRL. What clubs could sign him and what clubs may need him, but been a bit of a plot twist in all this as well. Basically now it's been reported that my team, the Seagulls, have signed him on a 1-year deal. I don't know if it was to the top 30 squad or it's to the Blacktown Workers, which is our reserve grade team. Either way, I think it's a helpful pickup because he adds depth to the hooker position. I think having Lachlan Croker and Carl Lawton won't do the job personally. So adding another hooker in that squad would be good, depth-wise and everything, and he adds a bit of experience. And if the reports are true, bro, what do you think about it? Do you think it's a good buy by Manly, or what's your overall thoughts on it?
James Seguiaro is a very underrated player. He is a very great utility player, whether you want to play him off the bench or anywhere in the spine, whether it's halves, but I feel like his better position is hooker. As terms of him going to Manly, I feel like that's an absolute smart decision from both sides. From James Seguiaro, you have a team who's just flying at the moment with players like Travojevic, Saab, Garrick, Cherry Evans, many players who he would gel off very well, and of course Des Hasler, the mastermind, he would help Seguiaro well, and also it's great for Manly singles. You got more depth there. As you said, you may not have that much faith on guys like Lachlan Croker. I reckon James Seguiaro is probably a great man to have there, whether it's utility or if you want to play him within the spine. So James Seguiaro to Manly, it's going to be a surprise. A surprise signing for most people, but I think it's great, and I'm really excited to see how he performs whether it's in the NRL or if he's playing in the lower grades. I just know whatever team he's going to play for, he's definitely going to smash it. Definitely going to smash it.
Yeah, no, that's well said. Actually, I agree with that. I think his experience as well will be very valuable to the side because, like, I'm not disrespecting Croker or anything, but I just don't think Croker is a guy who's going to take us to. I mean, I like to not say this, but I don't think he's a guy who will take us to a premiership. I don't think he's like that player you should have in like going to the next level. I don't think he's that sort of player. So I think with Seguiaro, with Seguiaro, I think he's a player that's proven, and he's a player that's been playing the hooker position for a very long time now. I know his best form, probably his last best year was probably 2014, 2015. That's the last time he really hit his peak. But he's under Des Hasler. He's under a couple of good players like you mentioned, like Tom Travojevic, and he's going to be working behind Foran and Cherry Evans possibly if he cracks the starting 13. So he'll definitely benefit playing off those guys if that's the case. But Yeah, no, I think where he'll come from first is he'll probably start the Blacktown Workers team, I suspect, because I don't think he's going to be, thrown in there straight away playing the 17 man team. Like, I don't think he's going to be just rushed in like that. It's going to take a bit of time for him to get back in the game because it's been like 2 years since he's played, or 3 years nearly. So it's going to take a bit of time for him to get his fitness back up and sort of fit in the side. But look, it's a smart signing, I reckon. It is a smart signing. I wasn't expecting it overall, but he's here now, so I'm pretty happy with it. I am pretty happy we've got Seguiara on the squad. So all the best to him, and hopefully he makes the most of his opportunity at Manly.
I reckon another thing you should put in, Lachlan Croker. I think he's got some potential, but I think with this situation, you got to put experience over potential, and James Seguiara has that experience, and he's been to different clubs. He's been to at Penrith, I'm pretty sure, Cowboys, and I think most recently, I could be wrong, Brisbane. He's a talented player, and I agree with what you said. I don't think he's going to be rushed in the starting side yet. But he gets a couple of lower grade games under his belt, and I just know that James Seguiara he's a safe player, and he's someone you can always trust. So great to see him. Great to see him back in the NRL.
Yeah, definitely, bro. It's good to see him back. I think he's a player that still has lots to prove at the age of 31. I still think he's got a couple of good years left in him, so we'll see how he goes. Before we move on, just want to say hello to Sam Revel in the chat. Good to see you, mate. And shout out to everyone in the chat, and thanks for watching. So we're going to move on to a bit of a different sort of topic. It's a bit different to this one. So obviously there's been that talk about Latrell Mitchell the past week now. So basically Latrell Mitchell is free to play in the charity All-Stars match against the Dragons, right? But he can't play in the All-Stars match against the Melody All-Stars. So I don't really get it because it doesn't make sense to me, because why can he play in that match but not play in the other one? It's a bit interesting. But look, I'd like to ask you quickly, what's your overall thoughts on it? Because I think it's a bit controversial and I can't really get a read on all of it. But what do you think about it?
It's very controversial and at the same time very confusing. Now, I'm not familiar with the suspension system and what games you're allowed to play and what games you aren't allowed to play. If they consider the Charity Shield as like a friendly trial game, then I still feel like those games should be led to a suspension. I feel like he shouldn't even be playing in the Charity Shield. He shouldn't be playing any game because he is suspended. But the fact that he's allowed to play in one game but not the other game is very confusing. And I just feel like the NRL, they just haven't put that much good thought into it. It's confusing because I honestly think that Latrell Mitchell would rather play the Indigenous All-Stars game than the Charity Shield. I personally believe he would much rather play that because, the Charity Shield, it's a great game that Souths have against Dragons. But something we all know about Latrell Mitchell is he's very prideful of his heritage. He's very prideful of his Indigenous background. And I know that the Indigenous All-Stars games means everything to him. And I don't know if it was his choice to choose what games he could have been suspended. Probably not. But very confusing for the NRL to do this. My opinion, he shouldn't be playing any games because he's suspended. But I feel like it's just confusing not only to us, the fans, but to Latrell Mitchell ultimately. And I don't think that the NRL have done this right. Not one bit.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think what also makes me a bit confused is that, like, for some reason, Latrell, I guess overall, just how can he play in the Charity Shield but not the All-Stars? Like, I know people are saying, the Charity Shield's a bigger match than the All-Stars anyway, but no, I don't know. That's debatable, I suppose. But I don't like it's similar, but it's like, I can't really say what's bigger or not because they're both pretty good at the same time. But
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And whether you can make the argument which game is bigger, I think we still both know that Latrell Mitchell would want to play that Indigenous game. He would love to play that Indigenous game over the Charity Shield any day.
For sure. Yeah, well, it's going to hurt him, I guess, because he's been I think he plays in, like, usually every year for the Indigenous All-Stars side. So it's going to hurt him, to be honest, not being able to play in that, representing his heritage. But my quick thoughts on it, I think, look, if you're suspended, then you're suspended. The rules shouldn't be, the rules shouldn't be bended for any other player. Like, because if you're suspended, you're suspended. There's nothing you can really add on to that because it's only fair that he misses games for the amount of time. Like I don't know how long it was. I think it was about 2 or 3 games from memory, but you can correct me if you know the actual answer instead, or people in the chat. But yeah, I believe he's out for a couple of weeks. So I think he's still going to like miss games. He's still going to not you can't play when you're suspended because I don't think it's right. I know there were I know there's players like CJ's mentioning, like Angus Crichton and Niokoro, but like that's not really about them though. It's about it's about Latrell and just his situation because it's completely different, to what he did and they did. It's a different situation, I believe anyway. But yeah, it's controversial. I can't really get a full read on it, to be honest. I mean, I wish it was a bit easier for the fans and ourselves to understand, but it is what it is, and hopefully he can I guess play well in the Charity Shield when he gets a chance to. But yeah, it's obviously controversial, but I think we should just move on. But yeah, on the third topic now. So I have a strong opinion on this, and I'm very against it. But apparently, yeah, this week or maybe next week, there's talk about Anthony Milford potentially joining the Newcastle Knights in 2022, basically this year. I believe it's because Knights are low on halves. They've lost Pearce and they've lost Brayley, so lost a bit of depth and lost some spine players. So I think that's the reason why they're going to go for Milford, just so he can fit in that team and basically do a job while I guess we'll add a bit of experience because I think Clune and Clifford's not going to take them anywhere and not going to be an amazing combination. But yeah, look, I don't know. I think Milford's a very bad buy. I don't think he's going to add enough there. I mean, he's going to come to a Newcastle Knights team with full of controversy in the off-season, a lot of injuries. So I don't think he's going to, fit in straight away. But yeah, Champa, bro, I don't know what you think, but I'm very against the signing.
Look, when Mitchell Pearce left the Knights, it left a huge gap in terms of experience, in terms of direction, and in terms of quality for the Knights. Mitchell Pearce, I don't think a lot of people realize how much of a big loss Mitchell Pearce is, and you'll see it this season. Now, for Milford, I reckon what you would mostly get out of Milford is what you mentioned, is experience. He has been in the best form as of lately. His past 2 seasons with Brisbane, he's looked unfit. He's looked out of shape. He's looked, dare I say, terrible. I mean, he just hasn't been performing to what he used to perform when he was playing under like Wayne Bennett, when he was just a superstar. And I know the potential that Milford has. He has the potential to be a great halfback. However, I don't think he's going to resurrect his career at the Knights. In my opinion, the Knights are struggling, and I don't rate the Knights very high for this season. Spoiler alert for my ladder prediction, but I see them being very bottom on the ladder. And I feel like the Knights will gain very little from Milford, but I don't think Milford's going to improve his game at the Knights. And whether it's Clune or anyone else he pairs with in the halves, I just don't think it's going to help them. I really don't think it's going to help them. And I'm with you. It's not a surprising. I wouldn't say not a surprising. It's not a very good quality buy. However, I have been proven wrong. If he comes out and plays well this season, who knows? He could be great. But as of right now, he's in terrible form, and I don't think Milford is what the Knights should be looking at.
Yeah, that's right. Well, before I say what I think about it, I've got 2 interesting questions here, and things I didn't actually know. Well, one thing I didn't know, and one thing is interesting because that could happen. Sam Revel has said in the chat that will Milford be the jersey 14 for the Knights? Now, I reckon that's a fair shout. I really do think that's a fair shout because, they're going to probably play Kurt Mann at lock apparently, which I think is fucking stupid. But Kurt Mann's not a lock, and he's not a forward either. And I think they're going to put Phoenix Cross in as a jersey 14, but I think Milford would be a better option because Milford's played there before, and I think he can play a bit more positions than what Phoenix Crossland can. But I reckon that's possible. But I think he's mainly going to be signed there to bring experience in the halves because Clune and Cliff are not going to be anything amazing. It's going to take a lot of time for them to gel. But Do you think he's going to give me the jersey 14 at Newcastle, Milford? Because it can happen, but what do you think?
I mean, you could, but I see him starting. I do see him starting. I feel like
Yes.
the Knights would probably benefit more if he starts, just so he still has that. You still have that experience on the field, because I reckon the halves that they have aren't really that experienced in terms of rugby, in terms of NRL, and your most experienced half would probably be Milford. So I would have him starting, but in terms of having him as a jersey 14, it can happen. It can happen, and wouldn't be bad. It would still be good, but I would prefer to see him starting.
Yeah, I would as well, because I don't think, I don't like. I think he will be good as a jersey 14, but he's always been a starting player. I think that's where he'd probably be most likely signed to be, as a starting player for Newcastle. And just back to what CJ Moxley said in the chat, he said, I don't know if you know this, lads, but Milford does have an option to still come to South, which I did not actually know at all. That's very interesting, actually. Like, I thought the contract was terminated, bro. Like, I didn't think he was actually going to come back there at all. But that's interesting. Like, I actually did not know that. That's I mean, that I don't think it's going to happen, but that's really very new to me. That's new information that I haven't heard yet.
If that is the case, then it's a clear decision. I mean, would you rather go to a South side who is guaranteed to be great, or would you rather go to a Night side which is struggling at the moment? So I reckon if that is the case, then the decision is very clear. It would be for me.
Yeah. Night spine is poor. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Well, look, I think Knights signing Milford, it is a bit of a done by. Like, I just quickly get it out there. It is a done by. I don't think he's going to create any impact. Like you said before, actually, he's been in some of his worst form lately. So I think he's like bad form is going to probably impact the Knights team in a bad way. Like, I don't think his influence at the club is going to be anything good. I think he will. I mean, look, he might add something, like you said. He's good in patches and he's good here and there, but he's not a consistent player. And that's the issue of the Knights. They're not a consistent team. So if Milford's not consistent, and if he's relied to play a halfback role or something, then it's not going to work. It just does not work. And also, just want to say, I said this before actually, and I think a combination of Clifford and Milford isn't terrible, but what it does remind me of is the Nikorima and Milford combination back in 2017 and 2018, because like, I think Clifford's a very similar player to Nikorima, hasn't hit his potential yet, more of a running player than an organizer, and that's the issue. Milford and Clifford seem to be the same. They don't really have any organising about them. They're more running players, so that's where they're going to struggle, in the halves a lot, very badly. So just goes to show you that maybe losing Pearce was a big mistake by Newcastle overall. But enough of that. But before I get into like the fourth and final topic, actually, just want to say, bro, what do you think about like basically, what do you think about like the Knights in this way? Like, do you think the Knights, even though they have a good forward pack and everything and all that, like their forward pack's still pretty good, but like, do you think that's gonna get them anywhere near the top 8, or like do you think it's still gonna be nothing great, won't impact their team enough? Like, I like their forward pack, but I just don't think it's gonna do anything enough to make them a top 8 contending team. So what do you think about that?
Look, they're struggling quality in terms of a lot of positions. If they want to be a top 8 contender, first Ponga needs to be injury free the whole season. They cannot risk losing him, because they are going to lose him during Origin. So they need to really make sure that when he is here, that he's not injured. And I reckon everyone in their positions just have to focus on playing just their best footy, because really they're not a quality side. You compare their lineup, and you compare it to teams like your team, Manly. You compare them to Cronulla, how they're shaping this year. You compare them to, let's say, someone like the Roosters. You can see the difference in terms of playing quality. And yeah, the Knights forward pack may be good. They got the side features and everything, but I don't think it's enough. Forwards can only get you so far. It all starts with your spine, and I think that's where their weakest is at. because all they've got, in my opinion, is Callum Ponga at fullback. Even though I was just talking about Milford, I still don't feel like he's going to change that night side to the point where they're going to be a top 8 contender. So, like I said before, a little bit of a spoiler for my latter prediction, but I'm not rating the Knights very highly. I do see them down at the bottom, very, very in the bottom. I'm saying bottom 4 of the ladder. I really don't see them going so far, and it's a shame, but that is the case.
Well, if you guys watched my NRL 2022 ladder prediction yesterday, I had the Knights 15th. People were a bit shocked about that, but it makes sense because of all the drama that's happening and all the losses they've had during the off season. It's gonna be a long season for Newcastle. We have to put it that way.
Exactly. I would add there is one thing that they got going for them, and that's Andrew John's back in the coaching staff for the Knights. Yes. If anyone can do it, I reckon it's Andrew Johns. And I probably should have mentioned this when I was talking about Milford. That's one thing Milford's got for him. He's got Andrew Johns there. If he can learn off him, maybe Andrew Johns can help him with his game, with his kicking, his passing. I reckon Andrew Johns could be the one just to probably, behind the scenes, save the Knights in general, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, look, he's a GOAT. I mean, he's obviously going to bring some sort of impact there, but the only difference is with him coaching the side, being an assistant, and compared to playing, like he's not actually going to be in the field playing. That's the difference. So,
exactly.
Like how big of an impact he will have off field remains to be seen. But yeah, either way, Newcastle fucked. I mean, that's the way I can that's the way I can pretty much say it. I've got a bit of a troll in the chat. I'm just gonna have to put that in timeout. Just sick of the trolls, but anyway, I've got to ignore them unfortunately. But yeah, fuck them anyway. I'm not gonna let them ruin the show. So before we move on to the last topic, don't forget to like the stream, legends. Yeah, that's right. Like the stream, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe as well. Currently at 1,382 subscribers, looking to get to 1,400 by at least mid-February or at the start of February. So the channel is going in a good phase at the moment, and I'm pretty happy how things are going. So that's a quick reminder right there. But like last week, I introduced it on the last podcast on episode 12. Like for now on, instead of having the Numpty of the Week thing, because like every last topic, I used to have Numpty of the Week, but I decided to get rid of that now because I think it's a bit negative and brings a bit of a bad energy to a podcast like this. And if I want this podcast to go well, I can't bring too much negativity into it and to, take aim at random people and for their opinions and all that. So Numpty of the Week's gone now, but for now on, we're gonna end it off with just based on your club, like the Guests Club, and which is you. And we're going to talk about just for a bit of fun. Now, I know what's it called? Adam Dewey won't be back for the Tigers until like round 8, round 9, roughly, because of his ACL. But say he was injury free, what would you select for round 1 in your opinion? Like what combination would benefit more? Would you have Hastings and Brooks as a halves combination, or would you have Dewey and Hastings as a halves combination? Like I know what I'm going to say, but I'll let you have your say first because you're obviously a Tigers fan and would know more than myself. Like who would you pick out of those two as a combination?
I'll start off with the Hastings Brooks combination. Now, I don't know if most people would know this, but the reason why, partially the reason why that the Tigers have went through a lot of halves is because they can't find one that can work well with Luke Brooks. And what I mean by that is Luke Brooks seems to be getting overshadowed by these other players. Now, the reason why this is an interesting fact I don't think most people know. The reason why Adam Dewey was moved from 5'8" to centre in a few of those games last year was because he was overshadowing Brooks, basically, and Brooks was basically giving him the direction which it should be Brooks. And you can see the same when Membo was in halves with them. I feel like that would still be the case if it was for Hastings. I don't feel like Brooks has that sort of potential to handle the pressure. I mean, I bag him a lot, I stand to what I say. I don't rate him that highly. I feel like he's lacking a lot of qualities which would make him a great half. He has had his good years. He did win halfback of the year 1 year, Dalian halfback of the year, but 2018. But 1 year, in terms of the career he's had, you need more consistency than that. You can't just have one good year. The best halves have consistent good years. So I wouldn't go Hastings Brooks because Hastings would just again overshadow Brooks. Brooks will again feel under pressure again. I would love to see Hastings Dewey. Dewey is great kicking. You know, he's amazing foot on him. And Hastings, for anyone who watches Super League, we know how good Hastings is. And even when he was at the NRL, he was great. And I feel like if these two can gel together great, man, we got a top spine with those two in the halves and Dane Laurie in fullback. I mean, come on. You got to rate that. You got to rate that spine right there. That's a good spine.
Oh, it has potential, but it's going to take a bit of time to gel at the same time. But no, it's not bad. I don't personally think it's bad, but it's going to take a bit of time at the same time. Quickly, what about Jock Madden, bro? Like, do you think Jock Madden's going to get any games this year? Like, do you think he's ever going to come into contention for a half spot, or like, you know, do you think he's going to ever come close? Or
Jock Madden, yes, I want to see more of this kid. I watched very closely on the Western Magpies for. I watched closely on the Magpies in the New South Wales Cup. Jock Madden, he's a freak. He's a great player. And even when he made his debut for the NRL, he was great. And I see so much potential in this kid. And I want him to have more NRL experience. We give him more of that experience. We can sort of see what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are, and we can work well with that. And I feel like that's one man I would love to see more of. Even more than Brooks, because again, I feel like the Brooks experiment we're working with here has run its course, and we should really let him go. It's time for him to go. It's time to bring on the future. Jock Madden is the future, and I want him in the club, whether it's a jersey 14 or if he gets some halves games during the season. I want to see more of Jock Madden. Jock Madden is a great player.
Yeah, and I would actually maybe just quickly, I would select the Dewey and Hastings combination, and I think Madden, is a good chance of it's a fair shout as well, because I think he will definitely play a couple of games this year for the club, and I think I like what I saw from him. In last year in his debut when he played against the Knights Magic Round. I thought he was pretty good in that game, so hopefully he gets more games. And yeah, I think we've got some more news in the chat just to quickly add on some time. Stefano, you're talking Manu. Yeah, that's right. He re-signed the Tigers for another 3 or 4 years until the end of 2025. Massive signing right there.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be very happy. What are your quick thoughts on that just before I get into mine?
Oh, it's amazing. This is the signings we should be making. Stefano, he has got a future in the NRL. When I see him play, especially during the end of last season, which I feel like he really peaked out. My goodness, I see a top prop. I see an Origin prop. I see an international representative prop right there. He really has it all. He has it all to be an amazing prop. The size, I mean, I've seen him in real life. When I went to the games, I've seen him in real life. He's fucking massive. This guy is a giant. And
it would be big, yeah.
And in that Panthers match where he bumped off Kickow, he threw off Kickow. I mean, who else in the NRL can really do that? Not much. And Stefano did.
Not that I can know of. Not that I can know of, no.
Exactly. Stefano and Kickow. He ain't a small dude as well. He's massive as well. So yeah. Stefano, he is the future for the Tigers. He's the future of our forward pack, and I see him leading this forward pack. I see him, getting them all energized and getting them all riled up. What if he makes a big run? Cannot wait to see him play more of the West Tigers. And I'm just so happy that we re-signed him and we locked him in, because I really feel like during those 4 years, he's going to peak as a player. He's going to peak as an amazing player.
Sorry, mate. Just quickly before I get into my thoughts on it, the trolls are absolutely here this afternoon, trying their best to get my reaction because they keep mentioning my last name and everything like that.
Hey, Patrick Nan. Hey, Dylan Wilson. Hi. Are you loving your few minutes of fame? Go fuck yourselves.
But they're pathetic, honestly. They've got no lives. They probably live in the streets. Who knows? Bloody fuckwits.
They message me all the time. Just leave me the fuck alone, you idiots. Anyway, forget about them.
They're just desperate, honestly. Carlos Brennan says Brad Parker recently did a vid and in an interview where he called himself as the top center in the NRL. Thoughts. I actually want to know where that video is. Actually, I want to try and find that if it's possible, because I actually am a bit surprised he actually said that so openly. But he's not a top center. Like, I don't think he's anything close to a top. But I think what he is he's solid. But yeah, Carlos, if you can let me know quickly where you found that video, just let me know in the chat, bro, because I'm actually interested in that where the video is. But yeah, Stefano's a good signing. Let me just say that he is a great player, massive potential. I think he's going to be. I think over time he's going to become one of the most premier front rows in the comp. I think he's got the potential in that guy's through the roof. Like, honestly, he's got heaps of potential. I think he's going to go well for many years to come, and hopefully during that time until 2025, at least he can actually at least a finals game with the Tigers. Who knows if it will by then, but hopefully it does. But I think that might bring it into the show, bro. Despite the trolls, it was a pretty good show. So thanks for joining the podcast, mate. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me on. I love my experience on here. First time on the Ankle Breaker podcast, and well, my ankles aren't broken, so I think I'm doing well. So yeah, I made you laugh there. But yeah, thank you for having me on. It was a great experience, great time, and I am looking forward to coming back on here anytime soon.
Yeah, no worries, bro. I mean, this is your first time on the channel, so I'll make sure to get you on again for many other episodes as well. Just want to say thanks to everyone who watched the show and comments in the chat. It's really good to see that everyone's tuned in this afternoon. It means a lot. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to All Out Champa's YouTube channel. He's linked to his channels in the description down below, so go and subscribe to that. I believe he's just cracked 200 subscribers. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or
I did, not far off 230, and the goal for I'll say probably next month is to hit 300. So guys, hit the subscribe button. You will not be disappointed, guaranteed.
Yeah, well said. All right, guys, this is episode 13. We'll catch you the next month. But until stay safe, and I'll see you all in my very next video. So see you later.